Our next guest is at the helm of a company that hopes to reinvent the internet. Today, Dfinity launches a $250 million ecosystem program for the Internet Computer. Joining us now in this incredibly ambitious project is Dominic Williams, founder and chief scientist at Dfinity. Welcome to the show, Dominic.
Hi.
All right. So hello. Well, this internet computer sounds extraordinarily intimidating. Maybe you could break down for us in very simple terms what this is exactly.
Well, some years ago, I was very enthralled by the Ethereum project and this vision of a world computer. And I realized that smart contracts are a profoundly new and vastly superior form of software. And I said to myself, look, what would happen if you removed the limitations from smart contracts and blockchain, public blockchain generally? And my conclusion was that if you did that, because of the nature of smart contracts and the way they bring so many new properties to the table, the way they're tamper-proof, you don't need a firewall to protect them, unstoppable and so on, and can process value as data, that eventually everything would be rebuilt using smart contracts, and everything would also be reimagined using smart contracts. So we think smart contracts will rule the world. And so all those years ago, we set about building a public blockchain that would run at web speed, where smart contracts could actually serve web experiences directly to users, that would have unbounded capacity, i.e. limitless. And we set about building a sort of global R&D organization that could execute on that task. And very recently, we fully launched the public network, went through Genesis Unlock, and already it's the world's fastest blockchain. It's people are building things like tokenized social media that blends DeFi and social media together, and we've got hundreds of thousands of active users in the first 2 weeks.
So, Dominic, my understanding is that rather than have a web that runs on a bunch of private networks controlled by big tech firms, this one runs on a decentralized, uncensored blockchain network. So who is running this decentralized internet computer, and why is it better than the internet that we have now?
Well, first of all, the internet's one of humanity's greatest inventions. Most of us take it for granted like any other public utility, just like water or electricity, albeit oftentimes we'd rather lose our water supply for a day than our internet connection for a day. And behind the scenes, the internet, of course, is a decentralized public network that's created by a protocol that combines vast numbers, millions of private networks into a single public network. And the great thing about the internet is that it's permissionless. So, for example, if you create a website and I create a competing website, I can't phone up the owner of the internet and say, hey, do you mind just slowing down the access to that competing website? And that created this free market and many freedoms that are transforming society. So it was an engine for economic growth and for societal change. Unfortunately, of course, when we build systems, whether that's an enterprise system or a website or an internet service, we build on private infrastructure. We build in the cloud or we build using our own servers. And the vision of the Internet Computer or the Dfinity Foundation, which is a not-for-profit, or the Internet Computer Association, which is a not-for-profit, is that everything is rebuilt and reimagined on the Internet Computer public blockchain. And it will run end-to-end from that public blockchain. Now, one of the interesting aspects of the Internet Computer, which you just alluded to, is that it has a decentralized governance system that controls it. So within its protocols, it has something called the network nervous system, which implements a form of liquid democracy. And it essentially exerts the will of the community mediated through algorithms. But there's a lot of advanced technology in this network, and the network nervous system is actually able to push out upgrades across the network and upgrade it in real time. So it's very different. It's more decentralized than a traditional blockchain. And meanwhile, the actual physical layer, if you like, rather than being cloud, for example, is completely sovereign. So the network's hosted by these things called node machines, and these are run by independent node providers in independent data centers around the world. And so the network nervous system when it creates these things called subnet blockchains, actually looks at this decentralization hierarchy of node provider, data center, geography, and jurisdiction. So it's sort of driving ever higher levels of decentralization and better security, while at the same time reducing the cost of blockchain, if you like, driving efficiency by absolutely huge factors. So, people are building things right now today on the Internet Computer. For example, there's something called Open Chat that just went live. People are actually running chat on a blockchain, where the chat messages are going through smart contracts. So this is something that's been almost unimaginable in the past. So it really is a new era for blockchain as a result of this network launching.